Hi, this is Brett Senkis with Senkis Law, and I'm responding to a comment to one of my videos. What does a corporate lawyer do, and do you need one? It's a pretty, sort of my videos go fairly heavily watched one. The comment was from a viewer named Grayvan, and he asked, what was your biggest obstacle on the way to becoming a corporate attorney? And so when I first read this, the plain read of the language is your biggest obstacle on the way to getting to the position. But I wasn't sure, I'm kind of reading that it seems like maybe he might have actually been saying, what was your biggest obstacle in kind of becoming one once you were there, like becoming a good corporate attorney? So in either case, fortunately, the answer is the same, although they have very different, there's a lot of other obstacles, but the biggest one in both cases, just to getting to that position and then learning to be a corporate lawyer, learning to be a good corporate lawyer and a successful, however you define that, just getting good in the position, was me. 100%, for two reasons. One is that I was reluctant to commit to the job. Even when I was first job out of law school was for a very large corporate law firm, a big AmLaw 100 firm, and I just didn't, I didn't want to do it. And I don't know why that is. I guess part of it was I thought that there were sort of sexier, more interesting positions in the world, like investment banking or venture capital or something, and maybe I thought it would just be a little bit too of a boring job, or I just kind of had my head somewhere else. That is a big piece of it, was that I just kind of always from the very beginning, and a lot of corporate lawyers have talked about this, we went to law school just because we could get into a good school, or we had an idea kind of what corporate lawyers might do, and we wanted to sort of flesh that out. But no one, I don't think most people really know what corporate lawyers do until they're well down that path. And so they're kind of reluctantly falling into law school. And I don't know, I just always felt like maybe there's a piece of me that felt like it was too risky to engage at that level or throw myself into it, or it was easier to act like I didn't want to be good at it or didn't want to do it. There's that little piece. And some of it I really, really legitimately, didn't identify as a lawyer. And some days I still don't. I love what I do, and I think it's exciting, and there's a lot of different paths you can take, and it opens up a really interesting world. And in the private practice, as opposed to being in-house counsel, you have a lot of different clients, you see a lot of different things, and it's super, super interesting. But I enjoy being a lawyer way more than I would have thought. So one was I was reluctant to commit to it. Now, related to something I said about reluctance is I lacked confidence that I could be a great corporate lawyer. And I lack that confidence, I think, just because I let people take my power, let them make me feel like I didn't belong there in law school, and even early on as a young lawyer. In these environments, I don't think it's any different in a great business school. These are professional positions. There's a lot of type A personalities, and part of how they validate themselves in the world is is relative to others, and that involves making other people feel like something less, or trying to one up people, or acting like they're more than, or there's a lot of that going on. And I think there's a lot of insecurity. Probably everyone in my law school was insecure, but with me, maybe I was more introspective about it. I don't know, maybe I was looking for more validation in the form of hey, this stuff's hard, I don't know how I'm doing, I sort of put it out there a little bit more, and people would say things constantly, and this happened early on in law, no, I totally get it. Well, in retrospect, I think a lot of these people were just playing a part or didn't really understand what they didn't understand, but the validation maybe I was looking for, that, hey, I'm okay, and a lot of people are somewhat insecure, not totally getting it. I wasn't getting that feedback, and maybe because I was asking sort of the wrong people. And I'm not saying there weren't any people who are either introspective or or sort of empathetic enough, or willing to put themselves out there. They were, but I had enough experiences from people who weren't that I started to really question my ability and who I was and whether or not I should be there. And that happened early on in law sometimes too. I just sort of felt like, hey, maybe these people are technically better, maybe I don't understand. And if you let people do that to you, law is a profession where they will, and they'll sort of take all that power. And it took a while and a bunch of different experiences and a lot of different things in law and outside of law to get back to being good with who I am. And that's a journey for a whole other video series probably. But there's no question, both in getting through law school and finding a job and becoming a baby lawyer and then just learning the profession and so forth, the biggest obstacle, bar none, was myself. And so when I eventually kind of got out of my own way or started to take my power back, the world got a lot easier. That was a great question. Keep them coming. I will answer all of them. Sometimes I take a little longer than others, but I appreciate all the feedback. Thank you.